There are few people who can testify to what lurks in the ocean, but the crew members of a submarine can tell us everything in great detail. Every year, dozens of people embark on missions that subject them to the depths for months at a time and bring them into contact with nooks and crannies that most of us are unfamiliar with. However, not everything is as pleasant and peaceful as one might think. Down there, submarines are exposed to all kinds of accidents, failures, and attacks. But we aren't talking about military attacks provoked by some enemy submarine. We are talking about attacks made by colossal monsters whose strength was wreaked havoc throughout history. And today you're going to discover it too. Get ready to dive into this story and discover one of the most chilling facts recorded at sea. Real-life confrontations between submarines and monsters. World War I left no country indifferent. The great powers of the world clashed on the battlefield while global economies were seriously affected. Yet on April 30th, 1918, the German submarine UB-85 was crossing the waters of the Atlantic, indifferent to any events. Its sole objective that morning was to evade British patrol boats and detonate any enemy submarines. It seemed like a simple task for a group of veterans led by Captain Gunther Crack. The members of that crew were experts on carrying out such missions, and they were proving it by dodging the sentries until something impossible happened. The following story was told and supported by all the men of the crew, including Captain Crash, and he did so until the day he died. According to the story, the submarine UB-85 had eluded the enemy and was preparing to enter hostile territory when something drastically changed their plans. At first, it was nothing more than a shadow. The radar couldn't even detect it. Only a small group of crew members could see what was coming, but they failed to raise the alarm in time. Suddenly, a deadly impact shook the ship and caused the lights to flicker. The impact was similar to that of a missile, but there was no water leakage. It had not been a human weapon, but something more terrifying. Observing what lurked outside the submarine, the captain lost his sense of direction and words. There was a strange sea beast above them. It was the color of charcoal and resembled a giant lizard. Its huge head showed two intense red eyes, a pair of horns, and a sharp-toothed mouth. The creature was huge, at least one-third the size of the submarine, and it immediately began pacing the surface of the ship. The crew heard its heavy footsteps on the roof of the submarine, and an instant later, the thumping returned. But this time, far from being impacts, there were sharp claws scratching the metal. The captain ordered them to execute a series of evasive maneuvers to free themselves from the creature's grasp, but to no avail. The beast was determined to get to them. With its enormous jaws, it destroyed the deck gun, and the submarine slowly tilted to one side. The ship could capsize and sink if they didn't avoid it in time, so the captain ordered to surface. Of course, that was the wisest decision from any point of view. Survival was paramount, but unfortunately, the submarine was exposed to British patrols, which soon detected them. Upon surfacing, the creature disappeared, but the vessel was badly damaged. The guidance system had numerous faults and the radar didn't seem to be detecting underwater activity correctly. Of course, the main problem was what was right in front of them, the British Navy ship Coreopsis. The crew didn't hesitate. They surrendered immediately and called for help. They wanted to escape from the sea as soon as possible, something that worried the British. What had really happened to those men? When they questioned Captain Crash, they discovered the magnitude of what had happened. At first, everyone thought it was a simple joke, although the Germans' humor tended to be different. After laughing, they began to seriously think about it. Submarines were, for the time, one of the most powerful weapons. Nothing could stop them, and it was unlikely that UB-85 would surrender that way. After interviewing the entire crew, the British authorities began to take the man's words seriously. Although all doubts were cleared up when the submarine was washed ashore and they saw it was almost in ruins. It had scratched metal, destroyed guns, and a series of unexplainable hollow thumbs. The crew and their captain weren't lying. The beast had attacked them relentlessly until they were forced to reveal their position. Of course, this had been a real stroke of luck for the British. The UB-85 was on a mission to attack a military center. The creature had intervened to prevent the attack, but that didn't relieve the members of the Navy. No sailor wanted to navigate a sea infested with monstrous creatures ready to attack at the slightest opportunity. The dramatic tale was recorded in an official report, but to the surprise of modern researchers, this report makes no mention of the creature, nor even the account of the crewmen. Instead, it assures that there was a supposed voluntary surrender by the submarine UB-85 and its captain, Gunter Crash. What motivated the British to conceal this information? Was it an attempt to silence the rumors so that the sailors of their navy would lose their fear of the Atlantic? Was it an attempt to make the surrender look like a British feat? These questions continue to haunt the web portals and articles of all the researchers who have tried to unravel the nuances and facts of this story. Of course, there's the possibility that the British troops simply dismissed the testimony of those men and completely ignored their words as far-fetched and impossible. However, there's a little that can be done to reconstruct what happened exactly on April 30th, 1918. For the time being, this marine legend continues to represent one of the greatest mysteries of the Atlantic, and its story has been the subject of hundreds of investigations, articles, and books. But to this day, we have yet to discover the existence of this creature. Even so, although we cannot reveal the enigma of this story, there are others that offer much more disturbing answers. They involve equally terrifying and violent creatures that have attacked not only submarines but also boats and bathers. If you're ready to know them, you just have to come with us on a journey in the following videos and let the depths of the ocean show you everything it hides. Are you ready? Then check out these videos.